alone by myself, but with you. Though tough times come out my way, but we will rise and become the new God. We will stand up and rise together. We will march into victory. Hold my hand and we say we know I feel right, it's for you as it has been for me. Everyone shine, everyone shine. All of us is for a reason, for love. We don't desire. We will rise together. We will march into victory. Hold my hand and say we know I feel right, it's for you as it has been for me. We will stand up and rise together. We will march into victory. Hold my hand and say we know I feel right, it's for you as it has been for me.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to International Prop Chat. My name is Sue Wong. I am the real estate agent under International Property Team under IQI Global. On behalf of IQI Global, I would like to welcome you and thank you for tuning in and supporting our program. IQI Global is Asia's largest real estate firm and a member of JUI IQI. This program features various real estate projects, global investment criteria, at the same time sharing some of the latest and hottest investment opportunities in different countries. So do join us every first and last Thursday of the month at 9:30 p.m. Malaysia time on Facebook Live. Today, we have the privilege to welcome Mr. Aziz Khan, Director of Sales and Business Development from Farrell Lewis, to share with us about their services in managing properties in UK. Hi Aziz, how are you?
That's it. How are you, right?
I'm good. Good to have you here. It's our privilege to have you here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that too.
Yes, because we actually marketed and talked about quite a few of the UK properties on this platform, and we do have clients that bought invest through us. So I think today is a good time for you to share with us, like for especially for our clients and for the audience here. After the completion and after they receive the vacant possession of the unit. So what services do you provide here?
Okay, no problem at all. I'm here to help.
Okay, yep, the floor is yours.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So we're Farrell Lewis. We've been in operation since 2012, assisting landlords, companies, to bring it back to how we can assist with clients in Malaysia. We first started dealing with Malaysian clients in 2014. There was a development by Berkeley in West London, and there was a collaboration of a Malaysian real estate company called Henry Butcher, who basically sold multiple units, or I think it was about a third of the development they sold. So they were quite successful in selling there. Our office was based quite close by, so a lot of the investors were able to contact us because we were really close by. The development and the managers knew us as well, so they sort of introduced our services, so to speak, too. So from there, we managed to get a grasp into the Malaysian investors itself, through their word of mouth, and referrals, we were able to then get through to some of the agents who were working in Henry Butcher at the time. Henry Butcher then passed us over future clients who were purchasing via them, and then slowly we've just basically grown since then. Since 2018, we have an office in Malaysia now as well, in KL, and we also deal with other Malaysian companies, real estate companies, and high net worth individuals. And now we also, handle the all the post sales, like furnishings, taxation. So we act as like a one-stop shop now. Initially, it was lettings and management, but now we've obviously covered all the bases basically.
So you have grown from then until now. So now you are a one-stop center for all the services. Okay, that's good to know. Yep.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we found initially when we were dealing with a lot of the clients. They told us that because they had sort of numerous different entities to go to just for one property, and it was just a nightmare managing in between with the time zone. So we've just tried to manage all those expectations by making it easier for the client in that respect.
Yeah, that really makes sense, isn't it? Like especially for the overseas client, for them to call with the right timing, with the time difference to call different entities is really quite a hassle.
Massively, because you lose a day potentially. You literally lose one day, and then and I think also, what was affecting a lot of the clients also was that they were having to deal with numerous people in one department. So that was also found to be top on the list for people. We felt that the clients just want to have one point of contact for everything, and that's what we sort of work towards, and we finally achieved that now.
Yep. Good.
Thanks. So I'll move on to the next slide. So basically, these are the developers that we've worked for in the past and are currently working with. Berkeley themselves are probably one of the top three in the UK with very, very high standards. And we've worked with them, offering our services for rental values and yields for their clients, just to show them what they can achieve. We're currently working with Berkeley St. George on a few developments right now, serving as the letting agent on a few of the projects. We've been extremely successful over there. They use us because we're able to perform, and we offer that service whereby we can offer that one-stop shop to the clients. Everything's been going well since then with it. Yeah. I'll move on to the next slide as well. So basically, this is what I think you wanted to have a bit more exposure upon, right? The actual the completion services, correct?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Okay, so if we start with what basically happens is at the point of completion, we will get in touch with the developer. This is obviously based on us being instructed for the services or any potential contractor. What will basically happen is when the property reaches completion, snagging and defect inspection is conducted to ensure that the works are carried out to meet the required standard of the building. The purpose of the inspection is to identify and document any visible defects which you find in the department. This could be as something as small as the finishing of the painting, or it could be as big as faulty appliances, for example, or damaged windows, cracked window ledges. There's numerous things which are sort of picked up. The inspector or the assessor will then carry out the snagging list with the developer. Everything's identified, the location, the list then goes back to the developer or the developer's contractor, and then that is carried out prior to the project considered to be complete. So all that will happen at the day and on the day of the completion. Some developers actually want the snagging and this to be done prior to the actual completion, because it gives them a bit of time to get things in order, because once it's handed over, there's other implications in between as well.
I see. Okay. So the checking can happen before the completion as well.
Correct. Just so there's no delay with the completion itself.
Okay.
So some developers do request for that. We've seen in the past, but some actually do it on that date, and they're happy to honor to do the works and carry out the works, as long as it's notified within a certain amount of time.
Okay.
The next stage, or the next part of the completion process, is collection of keys, warranties, and documentation. These are basically keys which relate to the apartment building. It could be postal keys. It could be window lock keys, statutory documentation regarding the handover, warranties, all these things basically get given to us, or will be given to one of the staff members. We will then register these warranties accordingly. Generally, most warranties are covered for 2 years, like electrical appliances, etc. The building itself will be covered for 10, but the warranties are normally 2 years. In the event of fault or a breakdown, we would contact, or whoever would contact the relevant suppliers and get them to come back and either replace it or fix whatever's broken. That's what will basically happen over there. At the same time, with the completion, with the snagging, meter readings will be taken also. So at the point of changeover, meter readings are taken. We will then, relay this back to the necessary suppliers, electric companies, the council tax company as well. So council tax will also be involved, just so everything will be back into the owner's name. We will then take care of that. So any registered post will come back to us as the managing agent, just so the post is picked up and checked, and there's nothing missed. Because otherwise, if it's not paid within a certain time, there could be other fines and stuff to pay. So we make sure that everything's done accordingly, even prior to anyone even moving to a property. So everything's in check.
Okay. Aziz, in your past experience, usually the defect check, right? Is it just is most of the London developers keeping to a high standard?
Most of them keep to a high standard. Most of them do. Are you meaning irrespective of defects, basically, you're asking?
Yes, that's right. Defects. Would there be a lot of defects to look for, or?
No, I mean from experience, the only ones that we've really noticed are it's just basically basic workmanship. When it comes to painting and decorating, it's like the finishings are sometimes not great, or they've rushed the finishing. So we normally tell them, look, there's marks here. This needs to be painted, or this is not in line, or sometimes the skirting board, there's many scratches on the skirting boards, so they need to maybe finish up again, or maybe some areas need filling again. So there's a variety of things that we've seen in the past, but you just need to pull them up in time. Once you pull them up, and they're recorded, then they have to honor that.
Okay.
The other section which we have here is calculating rental income and things. This generally normally gets done prior to completion, and there's something which we'll discuss a bit later. Same as the furnishings. This is something which we generally do discuss with clients 4 to 5 months prior to completion. It just basically enables us to calculate, the investment strategy, find out exactly what the rent levels are currently at the time, because sometimes from the point from when the person has actually placed a deposit and looked at what's achievable actually at the time of completion can sometimes differ for various reasons. So we'd actually break it down. the furnishing itself is generally discussed 2-3 months again prior, and then again, we would discuss the demographic again, of what's required, and what is required and what's not required. Basically, we would run through that too. And then the other part, which some people do either at completion or some people do it at the point when they're actually looking for a tenant, is assist with the tax planning and ensure the HMRC documentation is in place. So basically, if you want to know, for example, in regards to the non-resident landlord, what we can help them with, is we can help them register, and inform the UK Tax Authority, that a landlord is a non-resident. This will allow the client to receive rental income without any tax deductions in the UK. Otherwise, there's normally a 20% deduction which we will have to make. That can be claimed back, via HMRC, but it's a bit more long-winded. So it's basically like, giving money first and then asking for a refund. So it's generally better and easier to have the approval notice first. Once the approval is there, the landlord will get a copy, we have a copy, and there's no deductions. There are the tax will have to be, any income earned on UK property. There will have to be, it will have to be notified to HMRC, but that can be done via self-assessment, an annual self-assessment each year anyway, which is a separate issue. But these are the basic things that we would handle at completion, and that's probably about it, I'd say there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's best for you guys to start work, quite a few months before the completion. Yeah. I noted the timeline. Yeah.
Especially for the especially if you're gonna regarding the rental and the furnishings. A couple of months it's fine, but again, just to know exactly what you can expect in respect of your rental income as well. And I think prior to this, we would have had that conversation with the owners as well, about the property, about the rental income, about what the expectations are, the clients they're looking for, what they don't want, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do, and then just grasp everything from there from a very early stage. But all the other things will happen on the completion. So that's how that probably worked. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll move on.
Yep.
All right. So now, property management services. Two services. One's a rent collection. One's the fully managed. In essence, the main difference lies in the extent of responsibilities and involvement required by the client. So if the landlord is more hands-on, then a rent collection service is manageable. But obviously, if they want a more of a comprehensive service in the fully managed, I'll go through them briefly. With the rent collection service, we basically carry out all the marketing, the advertising, finding and screening tenants, viewings, preparing all the necessary documentation for tenancy agreements, deposit registrations, checking inventories, all collecting of rents as well based on behalf of the landlord, providing the monthly statements to the landlord as well, with all the rents received, income received. But anything beyond that is basically generally the responsibility of the landlord to do.
Okay.
Our primary role for the rent collection services is basically ensure that the rent is collected and passed on efficiently. That would basically be the crux of it.
Yeah.
The fully managed service, it's more comprehensive, and basically gives us a broader range of responsibilities on our end. In addition to all the rent collection services that we offer, it will basically be a more of a hands-off approach. So basically, we will deal with all the ongoing communication, registering of all the utilities as well, managing them, making sure tenants are paying them as well, inspections, repairs, dealing with emergencies, ensuring compliance as well, um, making sure everything's um, up above board, basically in respect of laws and regulations too.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, in essence, I mean, the fully managed service is a much more hands-off approach,
Yeah.
and we'll just basically be dealing with the day-to-day of the of the service.
Okay. Basically, when you inspect, you do arrange to inspect the property, right?
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
what would basically happen is initially on the point of a tenant checking in, there will be an in-situ check-in report carried out.
Mm.
That will be our basis to look at the point of an inspection. So, for example, um, when, for example, if we'll take a copy of the inspection report to the property,
Mm.
and if we notice, for example, that there's a marks on a specific wall, for example,
Mm.
we'll make a note of that. We will then, write back to the tenant saying, dear tenant, blah blah blah. We've seen that we've seen that there's a mark on this wall. It wasn't here when you moved in. We will. Could you please attend to this to be done by
Okay.
the next inspection, or when would or what's the earliest date? And then we'll keep a record of that. Um,
Okay.
that will be obviously then used against them in
Mm.
the event of either a dispute for compensation, or
Mm.
either it will enable us to say, look, we've given you ample time to get this done. You haven't done this, so we're gonna hire our own contractors, and we're gonna get this repaired, and
Okay.
minus from your rent. So I think just the earlier that you pick up on things, it's generally the better in these sort of scenarios, and that's
Yeah.
the procedure which is normally taken.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. On your third point of vacant management, I would like to hear about that.
So for example, this is generally when a tenant, it could be, I mean, there's vacant management sort of generally we've got clients for vacant management in both realms actually. Some are when the property is empty. It could be for a very small period of time. It could be for like a month or so. If it's going to be like a month or so, or like a very small period, we probably wouldn't charge no fees, because we'll just be running within the relet, for example. But we also deal with clients who actually use properties as holiday homes. So if it's a vacant management let for them, it could mean something different. It could mean that they want us to pay the bills while they were away. If there's a garden, get the gardening
I
maintained.
see.
Check for any leaks in between, while they're away. If but if it is a very very short period in between, we probably wouldn't charge that vacant management. We'd probably just run that as just as a normal client, and we're waiting for it to be relet.
Okay, sure. So if it is a short period of time, then it's likely that you won't charge the client.
Correct. Yeah, because it'll just be a case of where we're looking for new tenants, and there's a small void in between. But
Yeah.
this is generally for people who require lengthier periods, like say 3 months plus. So
Mm.
for something like this, where we have to use manpower and time, then there'll be a
Mm.
charge for that. But apart from that,
Okay. All right. Cool. Understand.
cool. Thanks. Any other questions on management and rent
No.
collection? Yep. Okay. I'll push on to the next one then.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So furniture collections. Um, as advised a little while back, we started doing the furnishings because we saw that there was a massive demand for it. Uh,
Mm.
because we're in the business of lettings as well. We really understand the market and what's required and what's not required.
Mm.
Uh, some landlords are sort of forced to sometimes take on furnishing packages and said because they're advised that look, it will go quicker. The
Mm.
process goes quicker. There is times that happens, but there is a lot of also cases where we let properties unfurnished too. But the good thing with us is that we're in the game to advise accordingly.
Mm.
We have 3 packages which we've assorted. One's a very basic level entry package. Uh,
Mm.
it's generally for up and coming and regeneration areas,
Mm.
uh, and that works well, and it's quite comprehensive.
Mm.
And then we also have the more premium packages. We have 2 further packages.
Mm.
Uh, each package itself has 2 different options, so they're quite broad, and it gives the investor a lot of options in that respect too. And yeah, those yeah the other packages um, they just basically deal with clients who want to furnish with better quality, or depending on the location where a higher level of furnishing may be required, where the rents are more, and the tenant profile might be slightly higher as well. Those are the areas that we would also employ the higher furnishings, but the choice again is up to the client, and we would run through each individual project um,
Mm.
with the client personally. So we would have that conversation very early on, as opposed to just pushing a package on them in any way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the concern of most of the investors, I think.
No, definitely. I mean, we've seen that in the past, and that's why we've made our packages very flexible. So,
Mm.
so to speak. So, for example, sometimes people maybe want to go for the basic package, but
Mm.
then we recommend them to maybe upgrade the mattresses
Mm.
to the medium package, for example, to the silver package, for example.
Yep.
And there's small things that you can do just to make it work better,
Mm.
and it doesn't break the bank either. So there's yeah, and I think we're well placed to help there,
Mm.
and even if the clients are wanting something different from what we offer, then we will always go out our remit to find something different. We won't just lumber them with anything which they don't like, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. That's important to have the budget in mind, and also to deliver what is good for the market. Yeah.
100%. I mean, every project we carry out, we take pictures and videos at the end of the project,
Mm.
and we share them with the clients as well, just so they can see live exactly what they've purchased and what it is and what it looks like as well.
Mm. Okay. Cool.
Yep. Thanks. Any other questions on?
No, not. Yeah, you can go on.
Okay. So the process, what they will do, they'll consult with us about what they want, and we'll review everything. Like it says here, we can customize orders too. And there will be window treatments as well to look into. Yeah, so we will discuss that with them.
Mm.
Whether they prefer blinds or curtains, or what type of blinds they like.
Mm.
Um, and we'll then send them back the order form. They'll confirm exactly what it is.
Mm.
They'll pay us a deposit of 40%. We normally require 40% upon order.
Mm.
Um, and the balance is generally prior to installation, like maybe like a week to 10 days prior to
Mm.
installation. We require the balance.
Mm.
Then we just need to have an access point for the keys collection, and the
Okay.
contract will go in, and deliver and install the furnishings.
Mm.
And all of our quotes are inclusive of installation and delivery, and it's a very transparent service basically itself.
Okay.
Everything, every item has a 2-year warranty, and we haven't had no complaints back yet.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. You haven't had any complaints so far.
No, no complaints so far. No.
Okay. Yeah. Mm.
Um, any other question you have regarding furnishings and anything else? Yeah.
Well, for the owners,
Yeah.
when they engage you in furnishing the property, you know, because you mentioned there were some packages that's available, but if the owners decided to like to tell you what they want and what they don't want, is it
Yeah.
workable that way or?
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah. Yes. If owners want to be flexible with us and
Mm,
say to us, we want maybe only one sofa and maybe like a dining table, and we don't want the media unit, for example.
mm,
Um, we will run through everything with them, and we will try to be as flexible as possible. So we don't need to conform to the full package, of
mm,
course. And we will do our best to make sure that they're happy in any
mm,
in any event. So we won't push them in any way to take a full package if that's what you mean. And if they don't want everything within the package, maybe only a certain item or
mm,
two, we can then try our best to do that.
mm,
But I think it sort of depends on the level of value of what they're purchasing. So if it's something very small, it may be difficult to do because by the time we factor in the other costs for delivery, installation, and etc., it
mm.
it may not be practical.
Okay.
But generally, we've been flexible with many clients in the past, and we haven't had any issues. So I don't think it's something which we can't do.
Mm,
But in any event, I mean, we will always advise the client. There's scenarios where, if we haven't arranged the furniture for whatever reason, and it's come to completion, and we know that there's maybe very very strong demand
mm,
for the building and for the development, there are many cases where we're able to rent out properties unfurnished. So
okay.
sometimes they don't always need to be furnished. Um, it really depends on the market and how many units are competing in that building at the same time.
Okay.
That's where you sometimes have the demand and supply problem. But
Mm,
generally speaking, we will always be transparent with the client as well and tell them what they need and what they don't need.
mm,
Like, for example, I've spoken to many clients in the past, and they want to provide cutlery and crockery in the apartments, and I
okay.
and I've said, look, you don't need this. This is an extra in the UK. It's
Mm,
classified as an extra.
okay.
I think in Malaysia it's classified as a standard. Um, but for us, it's like it's extra. A
Okay.
microwave, a toaster, a kettle is extra. It's not required.
Okay.
So these are the small things which we can purchase for the client.
Mm,
But if it's not necessary, we'll advise them. Look, don't bother. Just don't
okay.
bother with it.
Okay.
Same again with linen and duvets.
Mm,
It's something which is not necessary. It's
mm,
an add-on. It's
mm,
nice to it's a nicety. It's nice to have, but
mm.
it's not necessary to have
Okay.
for the tenant. Um, mattress protector obviously is a different issue, so that's something which we would recommend, but
Mm,
but not bedding. So we would obviously advise the client accordingly, and you to look after their interests as well in that regard.
yeah. Others, off your head, like, do you, for the benefit of the audience, do you have any like kind of a brief budget for like a one bedroom and a two bedroom? Like what kind of a figure should the owner be, prepare for?
For the I would need to pull up the brochures. I don't have the figures in front of me, but I
Okay.
believe on the top of my head,
Mm,
probably looking for a one bedroom.
mm,
Our basic package, from the top of my head, the one bedrooms are starting below £3,000. So
okay.
I think it's like 2,500 plus
Yeah.
for the one bedroom, and
Okay.
they include mattress protectors as well within
Yeah.
them. So that's the basic range, and
Understood.
then the higher ranges start above that. But the one bedroom, and I think the two bedroom would be probably be say three and a half. It's probably
Okay.
going to be around that sort of budget.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
can I can share with you the profiles as well as
No
well.
worries, no worries. I just, just have a rough number. But what you answered is probably, yeah, it sounded quite reasonable. Yeah. Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
We've studied the market, and we know the main competitors in the market as well.
Mm,
And what we've done, we've basically nurtured the products um, uh, and just to be able to be very competitive in that regard. So we know we know where the price points are as well.
Okay.
There, so,
All right. Yep. We
okay.
can move on. Yep.
Thanks. Okay, so why Farrell Lewis? So we've been obviously working with many companies for many years already. We have the representation also in Malaysia. We have an office based there, serving our current clients, and serving new clients as too. Uh, the time zone, it works very, very well for clients. And I think especially because it's such a big thing when someone is purchasing, it's nice to meet someone, be able to meet someone on the ground. So we have people who are able to meet the clients face to face, go through their apprehensions, maybe their worries, their questions, and then all that stuff gets relayed back to us. And yeah, you have someone you can always go back to daily, if you know what I mean, at your
Yes.
time zone. That information gets pushed back to us. We aim to get that back to the client or back to our representatives within 48 hours. So there is a very minimum lag. Um, a lot of conversations, a lot of correspondence is also done via via WhatsApp and these platforms too, making it very easy for the client to get in touch and respond back, and for us to respond back to them as well.
Mm.
We offer the we offer the full property management, and rent guarantee insurance, which is extremely powerful at the moment.
Yeah.
This is something which we would definitely recommend. It enables to give landlords that peace of mind that whatever the situation, their rent will be covered. A lot of the clients, will use that rent to pay their loans off, and the mortgage loan. So obviously, it's extremely important. The market is quite pro tenant at the moment. So, and with the economic climate, it's always good to have this backing behind you. And this is something which we can also help with. And we would and the credit referencing companies that we use, on the basis of the tenants passing the referencing, they will offer us a rent guarantee insurance, which so it sort of goes hand in hand. They will pass the references, and on the basis of them passing, they're able to offer us that rent guarantee. Yeah, so that's something which we would also we can speak to the clients about in detail, what it entails, how to get it, and how to do it. As discussed, we offer the one-stop shop. So we handle all the furniture collections. So even if the clients don't want furniture and they say, look, Aziz, we would like to just rent it unfurnished, we will handle just the window dressings for them. Or if it comes to the point where there is a requirement for them to rent it with furniture, because maybe there's been viewings and the tenants really like the place, but they said, look, we require furniture. Then again, we can arrange the furniture. So we wouldn't necessarily always have to furnish it initially. We can even furnish it afterwards. So we have that flexibility, and they'll be dealing with one person, one company, and just making the life really easy, basically.
Yep. Okay. So the insurance does give owners some assurance, right? That since the UK law is quite pro tenant.
I would massively recommend that, because even the best of tenants, can have problems, and they can fall on hard times. Maybe it could be a job loss, it could be a breakdown in a relationship.
Yeah.
And before you know it, there's two people paying. Before there's two people, now there's only one person paying. So many problems which can happen. So I think to have that backing, for a small fee, it gives you massive peace of mind. But it will cover you for any potential legal notices, for even up to eviction, and all legal costs it will be covering as well. So it's definitely something which is worth looking into.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
And again, again, with the non-resident landlord applications, which we can which we do in house.
Mm.
We can do that for the clients prior to anyone moving in to their property, so
Mm.
we can enable them to have their rent without any deductions straight away.
Mm.
Then at a later date, if they need to employ an accountant or a tax advisor, they can do that. But initially, we would handle that. Even the tax advisors, we can assist them to carry out the tax returns as well. If there's something which they want help with, there's something which we're also there to help with. So whatever they need help with property wise, we can assist them, and we will only do with one PS with
Mm.
one company.
Yep. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, thanks. Um, okay, so basically we're part of the property ombudsman and client money protection and approved trading standards. These basically, give us the ability for the clients to know that we work with integrity and professionalism, basically. So
Okay.
we're basically regulated, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I think that is basically it. From yeah, that's our addresses here. We have a it's address at the contact details at the back.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Aziz, for sharing with us about your services and in
No
such.
problem at all.
Okay. I do have a few questions. So you mentioned that in order to select the furniture, you got to work like maybe 3-4 months in advance. So I want to know, like, what's the timeline for engaging you? Like, say now before the property is completed. So, how long, how soon do they have to contact you and start speaking to you, the owners?
I think 3 to 4 months is generally okay,
Mm,
and I think for the furniture, I think 2 months is fine.
okay.
Because sometimes what could happen is if they engage us for the services for say for the furniture,
Mm,
um, and they choose a collection.
mm,
Sometimes within 4 months,
mm.
the prices can change, items can be discontinued. Yeah, so we
Yeah.
always try to keep things to the forefront, so there's
Mm,
not much change in between.
mm,
So in respect to furnishings, 8 weeks is generally enough time in order for us to commit to purchase and have that secured. Um,
okay.
but in respect to instructing us and
Mm,
discussing the project and what they have, I would say probably about 3 to 4 months.
okay.
Um, that will give us ample time to carry out um, our services, the estimated rental, what we think we can achieve, the client's requirements, and just and I think that's probably about it. And the
Okay.
furniture about 2 months, it's normally good. So ideally, what we'd want to do is line it up. So
Mm,
as soon as the completion is carried out, the furniture installation will follow soon after. So we could carry on very very quickly with the letting to avoid any potential voids.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So I understand that you have a representative here in Malaysia, and
Yes.
yeah, so that makes it so much easier for the owners here to talk at the same time zone, right? Communication will not be a problem. But at any point of time, do you think the owners need to make a trip to UK if they appoint your service? Is it necessary?
It's not necessary actually at all because most from what we see,
Mm,
um, you know many of the management companies offer comprehensive services.
mm,
So a lot of the items can be done online.
mm,
A lot of the engagements can be done online, so we can be instructed.
mm,
As long as we have the authority, we're able to carry out all the necessary requirements,
mm,
and then we would be in touch via email or via the phone, whichever is more convenient.
mm,
The lawyers generally complete all the nitty-gritty stuff prior to completion.
Mm.
Anything after that, it's normally okay to have a representative to handle that themselves. They wouldn't have to necessarily visit unless they wanted to just visit to inspect themselves. But apart from that, that's not really necessary. I mean, there's online platforms and
Yeah.
communication channels that which we can use. It shouldn't be a problem there. I
Okay.
mean, there may be an issue if they want to come down the line if there's a massive problem. The physical presence is required, but generally that's not the case. I mean, everything's manageable.
Okay. Okay. Finally, I would like to, of course, I know Farrell Lewis is a good, is the best management company, but
Yes.
do you, so for our owners here, if they
Yeah.
were to engage, right, any property management company,
Yeah.
do you have any crucial, like, important tips for them, like what kind of things that they should look for?
Yeah, I think there's. There is a variety.
Mm,
I can run through some of them as well
mm,
with you.
mm,
I'd say I'd say you know research. I'd say research the agent.
mm,
Do background checks on them.
mm,
Look for established firms who have a good reputation,
mm,
good reviews, maybe from other property owners also. So referrals are really good. Um, You can check if they're part of any professional organizations, any accreditations that indicate that they're going to be, adhering to industry standards. That's
mm,
another one.
mm,
Uh, Fee structure. That's important to check the terms of business
mm,
prior to any engagement. It's very important that you see exactly how they charge, what they charge,
mm,
any hidden charges, and just as just so everyone's on the same page. Otherwise, you can be sometimes caught out as well,
mm, mm.
and then it can save you a headache down the line if you're tied into a very lengthy contract and you're not happy and you can't get out for say for whatever reason.
Mhm.
Um, I think, and again, experience as well and expertise. It would be good to see what experience they have with dealing with properties similar to the ones that they have,
Mhm.
what they can share. An experienced company will know how to deal with handovers, know how to deal with overseas clients, what the expectations are. Um, Maybe someone who's got experience working with new builds and developments. These things are quite handy. Um, Other things, let me think.
That's quite a lot to look for.
I think there is quite a lot to bear in mind before you instruct someone. Yeah, just because
Yes.
because you sometimes find companies who they maybe charge less, but then that as that saying goes, you sometimes pay for what you get, and
Yes.
and you can't get hold of them.
Yes.
So I think communication is also another big one.
Yeah.
And just from experience, we've um, taken a lot of business from other agents in the past
Mm.
because of that, because they're not communicating back to the client,
Once. Yeah.
not responsive, and then it's just like you know we've bridged that gap, where we're just constantly speaking to the client, asking them, can we help, and then we found that a lot of the reasons they've used us or they've come over to us has been because of communication,
Mm.
where we've taken the business from bigger agents. So
Mm.
it's not I wouldn't say it's the 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 brand that always does it. It's
Mm.
I think people buy people. So
Yes.
if you do a good job and you're straightforward and you say what you do, people will come back to you and they will refer you. So I think communication um, is important. You need to be able to, I think, maybe gauge the agent first. Whichever way, and I think you feel comfortable with someone as well. I think
Yeah.
that's very important. If you're not comfortable initially, then I think just maybe think twice before engaging them.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, and then I think also an agent who can provide you regular financial records for your
Mm.
property, rental statements. These
Mm.
are the things that you will require to have um, to submit to any tax authorities or either to your accountant.
Mm.
Uh, so some agents, don't do that. Some agents charge separately for that. So it's good to know exactly if they would do it and would they charge for it. I've seen in the past that some agents do charge quite a lot for it. And I think that's probably a lot of it, really. I'd say that's probably
Yes.
that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Really want to thank you, Aziz, for sharing your insights with us, and also, letting us have an overview of what your company does. And I just want to thank you for your time and your
No
effort.
problem at all. I'm really, really grateful as well for the opportunity.
Okay. So to our audience, if you have any questions or require any further information, please drop us a message in the comment box or contact us directly. And you can also visit our website, www.ikiglobal.com. So that's it for tonight, Aziz. Thank you very much.
Take care. Thank you, sir. Bye bye.